Yes, ma'am, Shri.
Welcome to the Clause YouTube channel.
Together, we strive for a safer, secure, and more stable world.
Welcome back, viewers, to Strategic Frontlines, the official YouTube channel for Center for Land Warfare Studies. So, today we are discussing a very pertinent issue of the recent car blast near Delhi's Red Fort, which has shaken the capital, sparking concern among the residents and raising urgent questions about what unfolded that evening. As investigators trace the origins of the explosives, the network behind the act, and the intent driving it, the incident has pushed national security back into sharp focus. It is important to highlight that this terror plot goes beyond the national capital and the state of Jammu Kashmir, as there were arrests made in Haryana, Punjab, and Uttar Pradesh. In recent reports, it was highlighted that the ammonium nitrate, which is a crucial chemical used in explosives, were bought from several shops in Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. It is also important to note that the Delhi police has made a public announcement urging the residents to stay vigilant, which clearly states that the threat is not over. So, today we break down what is known so far, what remains unclear, why this attack matters for India's broader security landscape, and how it is likely to unfold in the future. For the discussions today, we have an exception panel here. Joining us is Mr. Rakesh Asthana, former Delhi Police Commissioner, former Director General Border Security Force, and a veteran counter-terror investigator. His deep expertise is crucial to understand the Red Fort blast case. We also have with us Mr. R.R. Swain, former JNK DGP and a seasoned counter-terror expert, bringing decades of frontline intelligence and investigation experience. Joining us shortly, we'll have with us Lieutenant General Dushyant Singh, Director General Claus, a highly decorated military strategist and a leading voice on counter-terror warfare. Contributing their expertise, we also have with us Dr. Tara Kartha, Director Research and Academics, Claus, one of India's most respected national security analysts and a former NSCS strategist. To begin the discussion, I would request Tara ma'am to kindly take over.
Thank you, Nomita. So let's dive straight into this really fascinating discussion which we're going to have, because this is the hottest subject going, right? It's also the most, what shall we say, it's given a jolt to the entire country that such a thing could happen right in the national capital. And what I think I would really laud is the fact that the police services in different states work together to prevent the actual plot from unfolding. I mean, that I think, rather than a lot of people talking of, half empty, I would say the glass is half full, because they really, I mean, this was quite amazing across states that people cooperated and managed to at least avert, like we said, much larger things. So the crucial questions, but there are like more questions than answers right now. For people, are everybody's asking, how did this happen? How did they get radicalized? Why doctors? These are the questions which are coming up in TV, etc. So what I thought we would start with, it's because these are very unusual people who are involved. I mean, not that educated terrorists haven't been there in the past, and as you all would be able to tell us, but these, like one, at least this one of these doctors, Ratha, he was just married. He married on 5th of October, and then he goes for this. You have Shaheen Saeed, who is a topper. So this is really something which we have to work out. So I would hand it over to Mr. Asthana in terms of decoding how this investigation is likely to progress. And I mean, anywhere you'd like to take this, please, your views.
Good evening. Thanks for calling me here on this forum. First of all, before starting this discussion, I must congratulate the Jammu and Kashmir police for a fantastic investigations. You see, it is all started with some posters in Naugam area of Srinagar, threatening the security forces and the police personnel. And very vigilant police officers in the locality, they started investigating that as to who is behind this. So they analyzed the CCTV footages, identified the personnel, then they resorted to the CDR analysis of the mobile phones and arrested few people, interrogated them. That led them to Faridabad and Saharanpur, Faridabad in Haryana and Saharanpur in UP. And there they recovered almost 2,900 kgs of explosives and IED. Out of this, 358 kgs was ammonium nitrate and 2,563 kgs of bomb making material, which included chemicals and inflammables. Apart from that, they seized rifles, assault rifles, ammunitions, batteries, chargers, and everything which is required for making a perfect bomb. Large amount of explosives recovered indicated that the plan was very sinister and they wanted to conduct serial blasts either in one city or in different parts of the country. Investigations will only reveal that. But as a police officer, one can presume that the conspiracy was to create maximum damage to our country and the security setup. Now, in this connection, this all started on 19th of October 2025. And as per the reports, I am not very sure how far these reports are true. By 29th of October, entire operation was completed. Accused were arrested, they were interrogated. Jammu Kashmir police had come out with a press note on 9th of November, a very nice press note. I'll read one small para which indicates the uh, character of this module and the designs. The investigation has revealed a white collar terror ecosystem involving radicalized professionals and students in contact with foreign handlers operating from Pakistan and other countries. So it's a white collar terror ecosystem. That name itself is very uh, dangerous in the sense that educated people, as you have already said, the doctors were part of it, and they were radicalized and they were committed to do these destructive activities at any cost. After this press note on 9th, perhaps on 9th of November, the blast took place in Delhi by the person who was not yet apprehended by the police. And that blast revealed that ammonium nitrate and other explosive materials were used to. That was a sort of Fidine attack, Fidine explosion, in which the last accused also died. Now the investigations are on to find out the entire conspiracy, and the security agencies, including IB and the state police forces of various states, are working in tandem to find out the details. Now, these are the facts which have come out so far. As a professional, we should analyze the plus points and the minus points as to where We have definitely prevented a serial bomb blast in our country. Definitely. And this is only due to the fantastic investigation work done by the Jammu and Kashmir police and support given to JNK police by the Haryana police and the UP police. But where we lacked, that we should also find out, because this blast in the capital city is very, very serious. It happened, it has happened only after, say, a decade and a half, because last blast, I think, was somewhere around 2011 or 12 in Delhi. And the use of ammonium nitrate is something very baffling, because mostly the RDX is being used by the terrorists for the blast. In this, the ammonium nitrate has been used, and that too in large quantity. If you remember, after the blasts which used to happen in our country, in which ANFO was used, the ammonium nitrate and furnace oil, the government had come up with a rule of ammonium nitrate rules, they call it 2012. These are very strict rules. Ammonium nitrate is basically a dual use chemical. It is used for the industrial purposes, for fertilizer purposes, as well as for uh, um, uh, as well as for making explosives. So the stiff rules are there for its whoever has to be who has to deal with ammonium nitrate has to obtain a license from the government. The storage, the transportation, selling, purchasing, everything is controlled. Now, this large quantity of ammonium nitrate being sold to the private individuals who are not supposed to purchase it throws throws large number of questions with regard to the implementation of these rules. I think over a period of time, the local police, which is responsible for the law and order at the state level, has become slightly complacent so far as implementation of these rules are concerned. Not only police, the revenue authorities also. So that is one area which requires a lot of investigation, not only to find out the real culprits, but also to find out how these terrorists use the loopholes in the system. Another aspect which is quite baffling is that the doctors have been picked up from Al Falah Institute of Medical Sciences, a private institute run by a charitable organization. As per the reports, the managing trustee of the university or that trust was an offender. Like there were cases registered against him by Delhi police with regard to fraud, financial frauds, cheating, and if I'm not wrong, as late as 2020-21, some cases were registered. Now, if a managing trustee is a tainted person, how the university has got the accreditation or the recognition of the authorities, and if at all the recognition has been given, and if the trustees are not up to the mark, why no action had been taken against them so far? Now, why I'm telling this is because some of the doctors who have been arrested have been working in this institute. One doctor who has been dismissed by the J&K government, LG Jammu and Kashmir, has dismissed one doctor in November 2023, against whom the Jammu and Kashmir police has submitted a dossier indicating his connection with the terrorist. He was dismissed from this government service. Now that doctor came to this university and was got appointed without any background check. So these are the loopholes which require a lot of investigations. And lastly, the blast which took place in the police station itself. There, I think the investigators have to answer a lot of questions. Now, when you seize the materials from a place, you are supposed to report to the local uh, court that we have seized it and we are taking it on behalf of the court and we are taking it back to the police station and draw a sample there itself. Call the FSL experts, call the explosive experts on the spot where it has been seized, because everybody knows that this is highly explosive material and it is very dangerous to transport them back to the police station and store it there. There are a lot of regulations, there are a lot of SOPs as to how to deal with the explosive materials by the police personnel. I think we lost on that count, and that finally resulted in this tragedy. And important evidence has been lost. Now, if
But
the paperwork,
yeah, sorry, I think only a part of that explosive has gone. I think some is still there, as far as I know. I was
uh,
just wondering.
uh,
Huh?
I'm not sure because I am not aware of the facts. I have read it in the newspaper that the explosives which were taken back to the police station have been exploded. So the facts, Mr. Swain will be able to answer much better. But the mere fact that the sampling and the testing was not resorted to at the place of seizure is an
Mm, mm.
lacuna in investigation which can be taken advantage of by the accused during the course of trial.
Okay, so can
That
we
is
go
my point.
across to, yeah, I think that's a point which perhaps Mr. Swain would like to start from there, or wherever
Yeah.
you'd like to go with this.
So these are the basic thing. I'm not criticizing it,
No, no,
but
no. The idea is
we
to
have to improve this process, and
absolutely.
with mistakes, if at all these are the mistakes, we should learn from it. That's all.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that is the point of this discussion, is to see where we can go forward, and which are the areas where we definitely.
And one more point I want to raise is that these persons have purchased second-hand cars in large numbers,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and uh, definitely the local police, that state police or the Delhi police or whatever, from wherever they have purchased these cars. In this aspect also we have been complacent, because as a law and order personnel, as a police officer, field police officer, we have a SOP for the day-to-day policing. We go and check the kabadis, we go and check the dealers who deal with the second-hand cars, especially after the period when number of explosions have taken place in the country in, say, starting from 2000 to up to 2012. So these SOPs were there. So over a period of time, we have become complacent. So that aspect also requires for preventing the future uh, such explosions.
That's an excellent point. Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
it stayed registered on someone else's name. There was all that confusion as to whose name.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Swain, if you'd like to come in here with your comments. You're on, we can't hear you. Yeah.
Thank you, Taraji, for having me on this podcast. Um, as Asthana Sahab has already underlined, that this actually is a brilliant piece of intelligence come investigation in really preempting and preventing some something truly disastrous and could have caused a lot of damage. Now, having said that, if you were to start picking up the discussion in terms of threads, the last thread which you left was, Asthana Sahab left, was about the SOP pertaining to vehicles. I would actually have some time to reflect upon the broader context of the terror ecosystem.
One second. Mr. Swain, can you increase your volume? You're a little not very audible.
Is it now?
Much better. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah,
All
please
right.
go ahead.
So let me first kind of throw some light about this issue of what Asthana Sahab rightly underlined is the vehicle issue. How terrorist groups in the past have actually successfully used stolen vehicles or vehicles sold again and again in a manner in which they are not registered. They are actually sold, the custody changes, but to obliterate or obfuscate the origin, the number of hands that they change is something that not really recorded. Now, this actually is a cause of concern, and J&K police at one point of time was really seized of the matter. A mission level effort had been made to address the issue in Jammu and Kashmir, but I think if I remember correctly, the matter last was in the High Court, Jammu Kashmir High Court, where one group went and obtained a stay to the efforts of the Jammu and Kashmir police to use the Motor Vehicle Act to compel all persons who are getting vehicles and using them in J&K with registration numbers of Delhi, Rajasthan, Haryana, etc., and not re-registering them in their own name, you know. So that effort was it got stuck in the High Court on a petty issue that these people have paid the road tax once and they cannot be made to pay road tax again if they have to re-register. So this was a small issue on which a major security gap continued to be created. I'm sure, I'm told Jammu Kashmir Police has again started an effort in addressing that issue, and surely this is an action point, kind of a concrete action point, which should really yield some amount of preventive security dividend. Having said this, Asthana Sahab has given a very detailed account of the investigation metrics so far, as we know from the newspaper reports, because I too also do not have the minute details of the investigation as they are progressing on a day-to-day basis. Can I sort of use the opportunity to talk about the key words which Asthana Sahab underlined to bring out or characterize this particular development, namely white collar terror ecosystem? Actually, in the Jammu Kashmir Police, we have been very emphatic in pointing out a couple of things. One very important thing is that we used to say that there are 5 battles which we are fighting. One battle is the battle against the gun. The second battle was the battle against the logistics people who are not wielding the gun but are into logistics, providing hideouts, transport, SIM cards, guiding them through the routes, etc. And the third was the battle against the finance, those who raised money and then those who channeled it and created and also spent it. And the fourth battle was the battle against the narrative. This is, we also say, in several of our efforts, we tried to say that those who are involved in propaganda, indoctrination, and false narrative are actually connected to the real bullets and bumps. They may not be very visible, but actually they are part of one single ecosystem, deeply connected with each other, deeply supportive of each other, deeply complementing and supplementing in nature. Our fight in the courts of law in Jammu and Kashmir High Court and also in trial courts have been very difficult because the court systems and the advocates, the entire legal system over a period of time had come to be a part of the ecosystem in at least in sections. It is in that kind of a high contaminated AQI environment, Jammu and Kashmir police, with great risk and great constraints, has tried to fight and deliver. So this is actually a development where it vindicates the not hypothesis, substantiated thesis that they're all together. Meaning, if you are laying your hands on a poster, and from a poster, the man who is pasting it, and then to a religious cleric, and then to a full-fledged suicide bombing squad with 3,000 kgs of explosives to across states, truly national danger. That only substantiates the long-held thesis that they are not separate. We cannot go soft on other battles. These battles are crucially connected to the battle of the bullets and the bombs. The Delhi blast, or for that matter, the doctor related module, goes on to vindicate this in no uncertain terms. Now, the second aspect of it is that the uh, the always we held that the well-to-do sections, this is a little bit of a paradox and a little nuanced. It would take some amount of granular knowledge of the ground situation, both on time and space scale. Otherwise, on the surface of it, it is a little difficult to appreciate what I'm going to say now is that it is a problem of the well-to-do, meaning historically, the well-to-do has tried to fan this from the sides, and the cannon fodder has been the less privileged, uh, uh, economically less privileged and educationally backward people. Now, yes, this is a situation where, imagine a situation for the last 3, 4, 5 years, because of a very concerted, coordinated, multi-domain action by the government of India using its resources, both agencies and investigation and intelligence and the kinetic, we are in a situation where the common Kashmiris have refused to join the terror ranks. The standard model used to be 150 youth every year used to join, usually between 5 organizations: Hizbul Mujahideen, LET, JEM, AGUH, and then some fringe groups. But since last 2022, it started dropping, and in by 24, it had become zero. Now, on one hand, we see it is not to be actually brushed aside. This is not a small achievement. Now, people would turn around and say, hey, if you are trying to gloat over the fact that there have been no recruitment into the terrorist ranks in Jammu and Kashmir, what is this? Now, please try to understand that the thesis, because once we understand this thesis, our action agenda would be rightly calibrated, rightly sequenced, and surgical. Meaning, the vast majority of the people who, if given a chance of order, safety, freedom from fear, and of course the fear of rule of law, I mean, they would rather prevent themselves or avoid being cannon fodder and go about their business, which is what Kashmir is witnessing. And these well-to-do people, जिनको दो वक्त की रोटी है, and they are capable of, and getting, accessing the online radical material, that subject matter itself is, as Asthana Sahab has rightly said, that technology, ability to have early warning systems to be there in the online domain, to be able to really find out who has crossed that inflection point or threshold and is about to, is a hard job, because these people are no longer looking for real physical person to get radicalized, at least at the initial stage. Meaning, if you were to imagine something like a 0 to 10 point scale, let's say in a Jammu and Kashmir like situation where historically, because of its history, of its geography, of its demography, and of its religion, religious composition, etc. It is not exactly the normal state in the sense that we look at the other states. So we would say that everybody is sort of disaffected. Let's say average is like 3 out of 10. But at 3 out of 10, nobody picks up a gun or nobody tries to go and explode himself. Not even at 6, 7. So what is happening is from 3 to 7, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, what is happening is the online material is so abundantly available. People can now, without really getting, accessing a real person, they are getting radicalized up to 7, 8. This is therefore an area where law enforcement, how they use technology, AI, surveillance, etc., because of the encrypted messaging applications have completely taken away the telecommunication sovereignty of the country. These big tech companies are, for example, I can say that the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology passed a rule saying that objectionable material, if it is loaded onto the net and circulated through platforms like encrypted messaging apps such as WhatsApp or Telegram, at least they will be duty bound. If a particular content is outrightly criminal or national security threatening, like making up a bomb, now who first loaded? The OTT should be able to give this information to the government and the investigating agency. That has not been complied with till date. This still remains only a advisory, and it cannot be forced upon these OTTs. Now, this is like taking away the telecommunication sovereignty of a country. Now, these numbers are there outside. They are this would not happen on ordinary conversations through the GSM technology. So this is something everybody would like to have privacy and would like to have freedom of expression, but everybody knows that there is a reasonable restriction. Now that reasonable restriction has become meaningless in the domain of telecommunications, the way I said it. Now let us say at 7 or 8, now some real life person actually emerges. He could be a man in Pakistan. He could also be sitting outside Pakistan, but connected with the Pakistan establishment, or could be a proxy sitting inside. Because at some stage you need to have a real human being, because how else you would get access to a weapon. But then again, please see in this particular case, what has happened is because the things have been tightened overall, they have taken to ammonium nitrate. As Asthana sir said, that RDX or PE10 or such other explosives used to be the explosive of choice of the terrorists because of their lethal and damage causing value. Now their availability certainly has been has been clamped down. The way they were dropped onto our side through drone or brought physically by the infiltrating terrorists or through the network of what you call the tunnels, all of this has certainly seen a kind of a clampdown. It has become harder for the adversary. Now you have a situation where these men are collecting locally, seeing online manuals as to how to make bombs. And then look at the finance. And I do not have the full details, but here again, I am told that the finances have also been arranged in a in a smaller, within the group itself, within the extended friendship circle. Now, this would be premature for me to conclude that it does not have a bigger financial connection. So therefore, I would be cautious in making. But what is sure is that the game has been made harder because of the actions that has followed. The medicine that we have followed is actually working, I would like to say. I mean, it is the fact that J&K police is sensitive about the posters. I can bring to the notice of Asthana sir that there was a time when J&K police was discouraged about talking about posters. तो क्या हो गया? लग गया तो. Now each poster matters. The last 4-5 years, our model of policing included that even a single poster on a wall should be a cause of concern and an act of kind of a UAPA offense and should be registered and investigated. Lo behold, the tradition or that the new way of looking at things has worked, and today we have the result. Certainly.
Actually, can I just interject there? I mean, this you made a very interesting point that, the J&K police took note of those things. That is, it's so vital that our policing has actually worked, which is what Mr. Asthana also said. Now, when we come to where we go next, my question is that the terrorists do this with a stated objective. They want you to get, further get Kashmir away, alienate Kashmir again, number one. And number two, they want to cause a Hindu-Muslim divide within the country. So overall, our counterterrorism should be exactly the opposite to these objectives, right? So, but how would you say that we should go in this direction in Kashmir itself? How do we deal with this? You have to arrest OGWs, you have to get the people involved, which involves search and all the attendant problems which people have not had for a long time. So I really welcome your use, Mr. Swain, and then I'll come to Mr. Asthana.
Well, I think I would quote Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha Sahab's famous call, बेगुनाहों को छेड़ो मत, गुनहगारों को छोड़ो मत, in the sense that actually we used to discuss between ourselves that it requires a whole of the society approach. It differs from a previous approach where it was only a fight of security forces or police versus the adversary. It would be a whole of the society approach. It is a multi-domain approach, and this is what actually was experimented very successfully post 2019, where frankly speaking, it was the education department and the secretary in charge of the education department was a partner, critical partner in the fight against terrorism. As Asthana Sahab rightly pointed out, this man, Nisar, Dr. Nisar, who was a doctor in schemes and previously SHM, the state, government medical hospital, the help in finding them and then, developing intelligence came from all kinds of sources to J&K police. Because we widened it, we said it is not our fight alone, it is the fight of the entire government, and for that matter, everybody has a stake, and anyone who was shying from it away was actually just as the other side was trying to rope in everybody and saying that who is not in it will be held accountable. We just did the same. We said that everybody has to be in. It is not my fight alone. And that is how I think we thought that broadly speaking, it was like 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 33 plus 33 plus 33 policy or principle. 33 meant that let's try to give a governance or an administration where people feel that they can access, there is transparency, recruitment mein, there is the accessibility, corruption nahi hai. We tried, I think, a very transparent administration, 33%, fair distribution of whatever source is there. In our discussions, often the LG would say that चार रोटी अगर है और चार बेटे हैं तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं, तो चार को तो ढंग से बांटें चारों को, ताकि कोई ये ना कहे कि मेरे को दो मिल गया उसको आधा मिला. So the second 33% was about improving the overall administration. चार रोटी को छह कैसे बनाए, आठ कैसे बनाए? Investment, tourism, access to credit, all of this was part of the bigger fight, meaning that the Indian state is a benevolent entity, and the effort of the adversary that as long as J&K is a part of Indian Union, nothing good can happen. That narrative had to be fought decisively and comprehensively, and that cannot be fought alone by police, because from there they were trying to generate a kind of false narrative that Indian state is oppressive, occupational and colonial. How false can it be? I mean, when you have a situation where the J&K is a part of 1.4 billion people market, and then it's 60-75% the budget is grants in aid. It is the highest recipient of budgetary assistance in the country. The per capita equation between people and government employment and people ratio, government employment and people ratio, is country's average is about 800 to 1000, and in J&K it is 3000. So all of this meant that a false narrative that the Indian state is repressive of was successfully spreaded over a period of time.
I'll take, sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm going to take that same question to Mr. Asthana, but on an outside J&K. How do you prevent this objective of alienating the two communities, of creating problems within? And also, I think the question, there's a lot of questions in the comments box. We'll come to that after you answer. There's some very good questions, even from DG, so we'll go there. Hanji, Mr. Asthana, all yours. You're on mute.
First of all, I must say that whatever Mr. Swain has said with regard to the quote of Lieutenant Governor Mr. Manoj Sinha, बेकसूर को परेशान मत करिए और गुनहगार को छोड़िए मत. That should be the approach everywhere. I must admit that police has to be fair and firm, both. If there is somebody who is innocent, there's no need to disturb him or harass him or her. But if there is an evidence of involvement, go to the hilt. Like, don't leave. Set an example. Deterrence should be there. So this approach of fairness on the one side and firmness on the other side should be there for the police. Now, coming to your question about the communal divide, the best answer is we should resort to the community policing initiatives everywhere in the country. Like, everybody is not an accused in a particular community. Okay? Few people, handful of people must be doing it. From that community only, you can develop confidence by your actions. What I said, if you are fair, if you are not arresting the innocent people, that confidence level goes up in the community for the police. So, as a police force, we should resort to the community policing initiatives all over the country, big cities first, then tier 2, tier 3 towns, secondary and third level. This will help us to develop the confidence of the minority community in the police. And finally, the professionalism of the police force. Like, suppose if something has happened, that basic policing should be there. As Mr. Swain has rightly said, now this poster, what is there in the poster? Like, for an ordinary man, poster is there, you just see and brush it aside. But if you start looking into it, that is the policing. That is, your policing instinct should be there, that there is something more than the mere poster in it. That is where the Jammu Kashmir police has done a wonderful job. From the poster, they have reached to the uh, uh, this explosives, large quantity of explosives, and they have busted a module which was out to damage our security, damage the nation. After this Pahalgam attack and subsequent happenings, we are on the targets. Like anywhere in the country, we are the targets because that will give a boost to the terrorists. Like their confidence level will go up if they create a situation in our country. So we have to be constantly on alert. And lastly, I'll bring out some other point also. If you see the happenings in the recent times, say last 1 or 2 months, now this particular thing was being investigated by the Jammu and Kashmir police, and they must be doing it, keeping a watch for last so many days. Same time, the Gujarat ATS had busted a module of ISIS. They have arrested few white collar terrorists from Gujarat and from Hyderabad. And there is another angle of use of biological warfare or chemical warfare. Then come to the spoofing incident at the Indira Gandhi International Airport, ATC, recently. So there's a design to disrupt our country, damage our reputation, and to create commotion in the country. And that cannot be assigned to the local modules only. There is an international conspiracy, especially the ISI and the groups which they are promoting from Pakistan and other countries also. We should not name all the countries because there should be some evidence for that. So, what I'm trying to point out is that this incident is not an isolated incident. It is a part of larger conspiracy to destabilize our country and to create a sort of panic amongst the people. And
Yeah.
the security forces, especially the first responder, that is the state police, has to be constantly on alert, and not only alert individually, there has to be coordination, communication with other forces, security agencies on regular basis.
Acha, I think
Thank you.
Nomita has a question, very relevant one. Nomita?
Yes, ma'am. So, sir, I came across this fact that JNK police exposed a nexus between Jaish-e-Mohammed and a banned women group. So I would like to ask that the involvement of women in these kinds of attack, how does it change the entire planning, plotting, and everything? And Dr. Shaheen was also involved in this attack, and she provided major logistical support to the main perpetrators. So, sir, your views on the involvement of women in these kinds of attacks?
I mean, is
Uh,
that what we're saying is it's not something we've seen earlier, isn't it? I mean, Duktarane Millet was there, but
hmm.
it was not, as far as I know, it was a supportive group. This is direct involvement with money, with, everything involved. She was carrying a gun. So, your comments, Mr. Swain, and then we'll go to the comments in the group. You have to unmute.
Yeah, sorry. Uh, the role of women in, you have already taken the name of Ashia Andrabi's Duktarane Millat. And now this lady is not exactly from Jammu and Kashmir. She is from UP. Uh, the fact of the matter is this, that because a module came to be in a professional institution, and they had, this is what I'm saying, the last leg connectivity, you would find people who are sharing physical proximity of in a particular environment, like substantial number of people colleagues come to share a particular. So therefore, I mean, if the question is to be worried and wary about the role of women, I would say that we must keep a strong watch. J&K police is pretty well aware about the deployment of women in Jammu and Kashmir, in dargahs, in small, the religious teaching schools, selectively, where women of the Doctoran Millat continue to go for indoctrination. But as Taraji said, where the indoctrination stops and actually converts into taking of the arms and ammunition is a seamless flow, and this is where these distinctions must not be made in a manner in which we try to relegate or sort of bring them, take them out of the focus. UAPA has sections such as section 18, which would like to penalize advocacy itself, the ideology itself. And we had a running debate with the law that even if there is no evidence, even if there is no evidence that a piece of write-up or a piece of speech in a mosque has not really resulted, because it is hard for the police to say that a particular speech resulted in actually indoctrinating or radicalizing a person and finally leading him to take up the gun or blow up a bomb. Now, but the fact of the matter is that the content itself, if it is advocacy, endorsement, legitimization, glorification, section 18 punishes it. But again, it is something which the court systems are little reluctant, because the understanding in the common perception is that there is an air gap. Actually, such air gaps really are not true, and they have to be seen as part.
I think that's very extremely well answered. Let's take up some of the questions in the chat box. There's lots and lots of questions coming up. Yeah, so this is an excellent question. Yeah. Has there been any police reforms, or are our police forces still serving the tenets of the 1861 Act? Your views? So, Mr. Asthana, if you'd like to take this up, just briefly, we'll run through a couple of questions. I think there's been a slew of reforms, so but we can just encapsulate.
Police reform is a very vast topic and it will take a lot of time to discuss about it. But I must tell you, Mr. Thadani, that police has changed a lot over a period of time, not only in respect of its composition, but also in respect of its capabilities. Nowadays, a lot of constables are coming up, a lot of technical capabilities with them. And the recruitment also has improved, and good amount of people, number of people are coming. Of course, there is a lot of things to be done. As I was seeing, General Dushyant has mentioned about the empowering the beat constables with technology to improve the policing. We have done it, sir, and there is, if we go into the details, you will find that police is very well equipped these days, and the constabulary is also tech savvy, and a lot of things are happening which is not coming to the fore. It is only due to the use of technology by the beat constables and others. So far as police force, the reform, police reforms are concerned, one important aspect is the uh, number of personnel in different police forces. Now, if you talk about Delhi, the police public ratio is very less as compared to the UN standard. UN standard is 242 per lakh. In Delhi, it is hardly 194 to 200. So, in other states, this is even less. So, that is one aspect where we are struggling. But use of technology has multiplied the police force, like we can take much better actions now. And as I mentioned before, community policing, if you involve
Yeah.
the community into the policing work,
Yeah.
not only the number of police will go up because they will be supporting you, but also the quality of intelligence and quality of support will go up. So, community policing is the answer to this lack of human resources in the police force. Multiply the police force by involving the public into the policing. I have done it as police commissioner in various places and has achieved wonderful results. And this is doable, and a lot of police officers are taking recourse of this community policing in their respective areas, and results are tremendous.
I think that's a fantastic answer. In fact, I know that the Delhi police in their phones they can find out whether I've paid my pollution certificate or not. So clearly they have technology. So let's take this question. There's an excellent question on ammonium nitrate, multiple uses. Can we have this question up, please? This is Tushar Sharma who has a good question. He's basically asking, how is it that they got hold of TATP? If Mr. Swain, would you like to answer that? That while ammonium nitrate is still okay, you made, I mean, earlier that point was made that those laws were broken, but it's still available. How did they get hold of TATP? Any ideas on that, Mr. Swain?
I think no, this one would be hard for me to answer because of these are the investigation details. But a valid question, perhaps would require some amount of day-to-day knowledge. Maybe Asthana sir would be able to throw some light on this, sir.
Of course, it is a subject matter of investigation. We cannot just you guess how they might have obtained it. But yes, your question is right. This TATP is very difficult to obtain. It's chemical, and they have obtained it means there there are some more people who are privy to such use and sourcing it are there, which require investigation, and this is not the right stage to comment on that. Yes,
Fair
it is
enough.
a very, it's a very, very serious thing, very serious thing, and definitely NIA will be looking into it.
And I think there's a very good point raised by General Dushyant Singh, is that the only person who's come out against this is Owaisi, Mr. Owaisi, who has said that, this is not the way. Why isn't it that the larger community is not like, say, I would expect, say, Deoband to say, look, suicide is wrong. You can't do this. Sorry. This video, which has been going viral, is completely against the tenets of Islam. So we have, I think we are running out of, we've totally ran out of time. So, what would you like to quickly comment on these two aspects, if at all? Mr. Swain, have you seen anything like this, a pushback from the community in Kashmir? Sorry, you're mute. Yeah, Mr. Swain, can you hear me? Yeah, you're muted.
Okay, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think these are occasions when, truly speaking, what with your concern, I would side with this concern. These are occasions when uh, leading voices of the community, those who understand religion and also preach it and profess it, must come out very boldly and must take a position. That would actually help matters. A little while ago, when both me and Asthana Sahab were trying to underline that the community policing would succeed only when the community is taken along. And they also, in that whole of the society approach, it cannot be a police fight alone. They are parts of it. They need to save the community. And by me and Asthana Sahab or the police leaders making statements would have only limited impact. But when somebody from their community makes a statement, it does have a huge benevolent impact.
Absolutely, yes. I think that pretty much says it all. With that, we'll close. For my part, I was thoroughly enjoyed this discussion. I think this was one of the best discussions we've had in clause. So thank you so much to our guests. We hope to have another one on radicalization, but that is for another day. But really, this was a fantastic discussion. Thank you so much. Thank you to our viewers, and good evening and Jai Hind.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so